Uh, I don't know. I was doing something. I do so much, I tend to forget a lot. But I was just writing a blog post actually for something I'm working on.
All right, what are you working on?
I have a brand called Subi Society. It's like a community and club, and um, SubiSociety.org is the domain. It's an e-commerce brand for Subaru owners and enthusiasts.
Nice. That's a great like niche.
Yeah, it's not overcrowded by internet marketers, so I like working in it. It's kind of small, but the people are really they're dedicated. You know, I've I've I don't have a Subaru right now, but I've had several of them, so I understand them.
Yeah, definitely. I used to sell Subarus, and there's definitely like a family that supports it.
Yeah, they have and it's worldwide too. So I've got a Facebook group that I'm growing. I don't know. You're on the little business page that I started up. I was documenting it for a while, but then I just got too busy. I want to get back into it. But
Yeah.
some of the stuff that I was giving away, I'm like, I can't do this. Like, this is just like proprietary information. Like, I should just use this for myself, because basically I figured out how to build a sales funnel.
Yeah.
I mean, I call it the social sales funnel, but it's very subtle, and people, they don't even know what's happening. But I just like I've been wrapping my mind around what I've been doing, like, and it's pretty cool. Like, it's like a sales funnel without a sales page, without a website.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
very and it's evergreen too. It's constantly going. But I haven't even launched the site officially yet. That's actually what I'm working on right now, because I have like 3,500 customers from the past. So I want to send out an email to them and just get it going.
Wow. So, do you mind explaining that a little bit, like what the social sales funnel is? Because I build sales funnels, like legit website sales funnels with click funnels. So, I think I understand the premise of it, maybe, but
It's just,
or is that proprietary too?
that's not proprietary. It's just like, I'm always thinking in terms of trimming the fat or simplifying like what I'm doing. Do I really need this software? Do I really need a website?
Yeah.
Do I really need all of these things? Or how can I get it? I'm always thinking in terms of efficiency, dude. I think like an executive at Toyota would think about a production line. That's how I view my processes and what I do, everything, like how I organize my information. And that's mainly because when I got started in e-commerce in 2014, it was like a t-shirt heyday. Like, you could just make a t-shirt for whatever subject, and we
Right.
would just try and like design them for anything. The ones that I was passionate about, the subjects, were the ones that worked the best, of course. But I,
Sure.
because there was just money to grab, I was just like, okay, I'm going to make a t-shirt for a cop, or I'm going to make a t-shirt for a veteran. It was kind of went against my own value system and didn't feel that good. But I made so many different designs, like thousands of them. I had to learn how to categorize and organize and prioritize everything that I was doing. And now I'm really just getting dialed into, like, I don't know what the word is, like the essence or the quintessential. Like, I've bought hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of software too, because I've been an internet marketer since I was like 25. I'm 40 now.
Yeah.
I've been through that whole rigmarole.
Oh yeah,
I,
that's what I'm going through now.
Now I hardly ever buy software ever. I just,
Yeah.
very few things that I use. There's a lot of things out there available too. So
So when it comes to that kind of stuff, do you feel like you outsource those things, or are you, I mean, I know you're like trimming the fat, so you're getting rid of like, if you were using ClickFunnels, you probably get rid of that and come up with a system without that. But
I
what's
don't,
the process for that?
well, I'm using Shopify right now because it's easy.
Okay.
30 bucks a month. I have certain applications that are hooked into it, but yeah, I just am looking at, like, that's the question I asked. Do I really need this? Like, So, and I'm bootstrapping too, because I just lost everything. Like I'm starting over again as of like 3 or 4 months ago, because
What do
what?
you mean? What do you mean you lost everything?
Like I had taken all of my money, my Bitcoin and crypto that I had, invested it in a company and I got fired from it. So,
Oh
yeah,
man.
I didn't have anything in writing, and I didn't have anything after I was done. I actually had to end up moving back, going back to my home with my family. It's an abusive situation, like fucking not fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just a good place to start, because I don't have a lot to work with, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I
I'm intelligent enough to figure it out. But I have another brand too that I'm building. It's called Pitbull Society. It's for pit bull dogs. That
sure.
one is a little bit, it's not as fun for me. It's bigger, but not
Just
as
because
into.
you're not passionate about it.
Yeah, I have a dog and I love my dog, but I don't really like give a fuck. Like, I mean, I like dogs, but I'm not like a dog person, you know? It's like,
Sure.
I have my dog. I like him, but get your
Just
dog away from me.
yeah.
That's kind of how it
Yeah.
goes.
So you've been basically living as a digital nomad, traveling the continent in the Previa.
Yeah. 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 North America. And I do that because I have my dog. Because if it wasn't for him, I'd probably be flying and going to other places all over the world. But yeah, I've lived the van life. That didn't happen on purpose. It happened because when I lived in Maui, I had are we recording? Is this live right now? Or,
It's just recording.
okay.
So
Um, the landlords there, they're like from the feudal ages, and they're like very strict, and none of them like dogs. And especially during the high season, so it was December, my lease was running out on the apartment that I was living in,
yeah.
and I couldn't find a place, but I found this Previa and I just bought it, and I didn't know what it was. I was looking for one of those older square Toyota vans, because I always seen them at the surf spots. I'm like, I want one of those older like Toyota vans.
Yeah.
And I found this Previa for $1,500, and I bought it. My friend and we just were sleeping in it together, just on the beaches. And I was like, man, this is pretty cool. I'm going to get another one when I go to the U.S., because I was headed to Seattle. We got another one when I got there, and it just became like a little obsession. Yeah, I have one right here right now, my nice one. I'm actually trying to sell it because I don't want to take it back down to Mexico with me. But yeah, I love them. That's how I am, dude. Like, if that's like a trusted friend, like a loyal thing, is like, I would be like, you've seen that baseball pitcher that like lives in his van again. Have you ever heard that story or whatever? He like makes like millions a year and he lives in his van. That's kind of me. I don't really care
Yeah.
for things too much, because I've went without at so many different points in my life where I was kind of able to let go of those attachments. Like, I like cars and things like that, but it's like, oh, cool.
It's not like the driving motivation.
No, my motivations are all deeper than that. Like, they're just my own, like, what can I squeeze out of myself? Like, what am I capable of?
Yeah.
But I do believe in having an optimized environment and nice things, and like,
Sure.
but sometimes when I start to get a lot of stuff, it makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't want all this stuff. Then you got to take care of it. People become
Yeah.
hoarders. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
hoarders out there.
Yeah. You end up with all this shit that you hardly ever use, and most of it's from ego, at
Yeah.
least from my experience.
Yeah. People just don't know. They're just doing it because their parents did, or they grew up around it.
Yeah.
That's because my upbringing was so fucked up. I'm always examining that stuff. Like, I'm always examining myself. Like, because I grew up like in abuse on both ends. Like, uh, my mom's crazy. Like, she just never had it. So like, my environment was always unstable. That's caused a lot of like anger and resentment in me that I've had to deal with. Like,
Sure.
why can't my fucking family be like that? Like,
Right.
why did
Comparing.
I have to deal with this shit? Or it's like easy for you to say, you got a mom, dude, that's like, she's there. You can talk to her. I cannot relate to my mother in that way. I've had to like find surrogate mothers and things like that. Like my friend Hanas, which you've met.
Yeah.
She's kind of like a mom to me. Like she's like saved my life in a way by massaging and touching me, because I didn't get that kind of affection as a kid. I got hit. It's sad. It fucking sucks, but it's a hard thing to deal with, but it's the deck that I got dealt. So what can I do? You know,
Yeah,
I like how Gary Vee says, and
yeah,
at first I was like, well, easy for you to say, dude, you like love your mom's like the prime example to you, you know?
yeah.
So it's,
Yeah, and I mean it's just how you dealt or played the cards you've been dealt, and to me, since I've met you, you know, I've known you for probably 4 years now. That's probably the last time I've actually seen you is when you were living with Gary, or when I was living with Gary. Um, but you know, just kind of figuring it out on the fly, and I feel like that's kind of what um, us as entrepreneurs kind of have to do, no matter the situation we're in. You know, some situations are quite a bit, you know, more difficult than others. But yeah, you know, just making it up as you go.
yeah, from those negative experiences though comes depth that most people don't have. They don't have it. So
Sure.
they might be floating around like, but they're not going to be able to dive into the details of their business the way that I am, because all those experiences, me overcoming them, which I haven't overcame all of them, but each time I do, it's like I get smarter, you know, from all those negative experiences is where your intelligence comes from. But your functionality comes from the positive.
Yeah.
So most people are hooked up on the negative. It's hard to get over there, like in that direction,
Yeah.
especially if you've had a lot of adversity or a lot of heartbreaks or a lot of trauma, like loss, all of these things. Like it's not easy to overcome, but
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in those circumstances, you know, and like even in my situation, I, you know, nothing like that, but even just recently, I moved in with my girlfriend after 6 months, and then 6 months later we broke out. I moved out, moved in with my mom, had to move out a week later, was basically living in my truck for a little bit, had to move in back with my dad. So I'm like in between and like trying to figure out my business. So I've got all these things to juggle, and you know, it can be super like stressful and like uh, um, exhausting.
yeah, and humiliating, especially when the people around you don't understand you. Jeff Bezos says entrepreneurs must be willing to be misunderstood for long periods of time, and that is freaking true, because like what I'm building and the things I'm doing, they just require that I eat shit and that I don't make a lot of money. And I don't care to make a lot of money in the beginning, because I'm building a foundation and I'm building a community. What I'm doing is really long term. But you know, if there's two things that will get me in a fight with you, number one is telling me to get a job, and number two is telling me to go to church. You tell me either one of those things, like, oh, that's like, I gotta freaking hold myself back from wanting to kill you if you tell me either one of those two things.
Oh
So
yeah,
I'm willing to eat shit. Like,
but not go to church or get a job.
yeah,
I'm the same way.
if I'm gonna get a job, I'll go to McDonald's. Like, fuck it. That's the way I feel. Like, if I just need to go get a job, I'll go to McDonald's. Because truthfully, with my skills, I could probably work for Facebook or Google or any of these tech companies, but it's not my lifestyle, you know. Especially, I'm spending a lot of time with my dog as he gets older too. I'm not gonna go do that right now. Like,
Yeah.
I've
And
always lived this way.
yeah, when I had to move in with my mom and my dad, both of them, that was their approach. They're like, well, why don't you just go get a job? You know, everyone's hiring. And it's like, okay, well, I can go get a job and make $1,000, $1,500 a month, or I can use that time that I'm spending, you know, 40 hours a week in this job that I fucking hate, that's gonna take me farther away from my business. I could use that 40 hours and make, you know, three, four, five times that in a couple hours, you know, depending on what you're doing, obviously. But um, they don't get it because they've never been in that position. They've never owned a business. So they don't know what it takes really to be an entrepreneur. They don't know the struggle, you know, what comes with it. And it's just easier to go get a job where there's, you know, that seeming security. And you know, to them that's you know, they're proud of you if you just have a job.
Yeah, that's
You
the
know,
system. The system's not set up for people like us. It's just not.
yeah,
And it's so you're always going to be pushing against it, and you're always going to be dealing with like people that are brainwashed or just they don't have the understanding.
yeah, yeah. They don't have the experience, any of that.
It's hard to unearth your own value. It's like you're chiseling away at everything that is not you, trying to trying to be in integrity too, like to deliver real value to the world is that's a challenge or something that you should be proud of, because you'll often start and you won't be delivering real value. You'll be doing
Yeah,
things that you were conditioned to do, and you might even be going against yourself and you don't even know it, but you can feel something like, oh, I know I can do better than this. For example, like when I first started on social media marketing, it was a site called MySpace, and I used to have these like bots, like these robots. I've always been into automation, and I would just make these profiles, and I had a dating product, and I would just have these bots running, adding these single guys all day. And I just made I just turned the MySpace profile into a sales page of this thing. It was an affiliate thing, and I would get paid
wow.
$40 for every sale. But I did that, and I was making that's how I moved to Hawaii, by essentially being a spammer, and but it didn't feel right. So I got started like, man, I need more purpose. I need to be doing something that's better, more beneficial for people. Then I just got involved in network marketing. I started doing that. And I liked the personal development aspect of that at the time, and I thought it was really cool. But then eventually I was like, this isn't for me either. I'm just basically a salesperson for another company. I need to create my own thing if I really want to be satisfied, because I'm not in it for the money. I see all these other people making millions and walking across stage, and I'm looking at them and I'm just saying, that's not me. That's not what I'm here to do. I feel like I'm in church or something. Like, this is not, I'm an
Preach
artist.
it.
I'm an artist at the end of the day. Like, I want to come up with my own ideas and my own concepts and my own systems and things for people. So
Yeah. So when you touched on like creating value, so like I know for me when I started creating videos back, I started 5 years ago creating content just on my YouTube page, but the information that I was giving was just reiterated. It wasn't even stuff that I really understood. It was stuff that I was learning, and I fucking sucked at it. And so, you know, no one was listening, no one was watching, and the whole time I was judging myself. So, and obviously, come full circle to today, excuse me. You know, I've gotten a lot better. I feel a lot more confident, and I feel like the value that I'm able to bring, you know, may even just help a couple people at this point. I don't have a large audience, but you know, it's something I'm building into. What would you say for someone that's like just starting their journey?
well, don't come on video and talk about things that you don't know what you're talking about. We've all done that. Like, I used to do that. I used to make money doing that, but it doesn't feel right at the end of the day. And that's what's most important, is what feels right. I don't know, is this action that I'm taking in integrity with what I'm feeling? And, that can often be subtle. And with money, the whole thing of survival, like driving you'll do things like just to get paid sometimes, not even things that are even necessarily bad, but it's just not something that you should be doing. And you have this subtle signal from your body, like telling you, like, it's just some feeling of discomfort, right? But you're just ignoring it. I'll change later, or I'll do this later. I got to do this right now.
Yeah.
My advice, I'm barely now at 40, 15 years later, starting to come out on video and feel like, hey, I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about. And when I say something, it's going to mean something to somebody just now. But I would watch other people the whole time, like, oh, why can't I do that? Blah, blah, blah. It's because I wasn't well versed enough to teach the things that I wanted to teach at like an expert level. So,
Right.
and I was talking about like, making money with, money making systems and things like that. And I could make money, but dude, I was crappy at managing it.
Oh,
Like I wouldn't take financial advice from me ever. like,
me
like if you want to learn how to create something and get like a big burst of cash, then yeah, ask me. I'll tell you. Like I'll walk you through that. But once you have that money and like, or even having to deal with the government and all that stuff, like it's just not my forte. So I don't know. I feel like a big hypocrite for some of the things that I've done in the past, but I can't judge myself too hard.
Yeah, and I mean, like a perspective that I think of too is like, um, uh, I follow Russell Brunson. I really consume his content, and what he talks about is like, you don't really know something until you can teach it. Now, obviously, I can listen to someone else talk about money and then reiterate it and not really understand it. But through that whole process, I feel like even though, even back 5 years ago, I was talking about like laws of success because that's what I was going through with Gary. But that process of just, reiterating what I was learning really solidified um, to me what it actually meant to me. Whether or not anyone really watched it or gained anything from it, I guess wasn't really important to me at that time. But looking back, it definitely had a huge impact on how far I've come.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think a better approach then would be documenting. They talk about that a lot. Gary Vee talks about just documenting your journey, which I agree with. Like if you are trying to build a community of people within whatever niche you're in, um, those people are going to have a harder time connecting with somebody that is already up here versus someone that's taking them on the journey from where they're at to where they want to go.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. If I could go back and do it all over again, like when I was doing a lot of that stuff, I would definitely just be like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to try this. Like, at least you're taking action. At least you're trying. Like with these brands that I'm building right now, and I've been documenting a lot of the processes I know because I have done them before, but a lot of it's new. A lot of it's just an experiment. Okay. I'm going to try this experiment. I'm going to record this and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Just being humble and not a guru, I think is like the key. Like not
Um,
trying to tell people like because I don't feel like I know anything for anybody else, like let alone myself, like to be honest with you. Like I know that we are driven by like value systems, and that having a goal like is a good idea, like having a big goal that keeps you going. But like as far as explaining and teaching the actual mechanics, I'm not going to do that for you. Just I'll give you the basics, like the macro,
yeah.
find out what resonates with you. So I think that's a very important thing for people to find out, like what are my value systems. Like I list mine out sometimes. I don't have them all, but what are the things that I really appreciate? Like I really appreciate beauty. I really appreciate loyalty. I really like a really loyal, like I just look around at my life, like the cars I choose to drive and like my relationship with my dog. Like, okay, I like loyalty, and then I just write them out and kind of keep them. I have a whole folder called identity where it's like I've mapped myself out like from head to toe, basically everything from what I eat to all these things that we're talking about.
I like that. I'm going to do that.
I think a big part of your life is just defining yourself, but and it works the same in business too. I was writing out the other day the core things that I do like on a daily basis, because I do a lot and I'm switching back and forth. Like one of them is defining. Like I'm always having to define something. Like, okay, well, I've got this brand and I've got this logo here and I've got all these people in this community, but what is this thing? Like, I don't even know what it is. I better take the time to write it out. So I'll go and like, okay, I'm going to define this. What is Subi Society? What's our story? Like, what are our values and principles? And yep,
Yeah.
defining.
I just started reading this book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Have you ever read that?
No, but I've seen a couple of friends like recommending it or quoting it.
Yeah, he's talking about values right now and how like there's a story of one of the guys in Metallica, he got kicked out of the band, started Megadeth. Megadeth became super successful, but Metallica was way more successful. And so his values for success, he wasn't able to meet those because his value of success was being more successful than Metallica because he got kicked out. And so he was super depressed and just hated his life. And so I think that really relates with, even what we're talking about today is like, what are our values for success? And, are we setting that expectation to those gurus that are out there? And then, reflecting what we're doing now, like comparing that. And then it's easy to get caught up and to just quit because it's such a gap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those,
Yeah, I value like my life. I value simplicity, and I don't want to like work myself to the bone. I love working and creating, but I get out of balance a lot. But I can't do that every day. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't need much, especially because when I'm at my home in Mexico, it doesn't cost me very much to live. And I like that simplicity. I like the idea of not having a lot of pressure on myself and by my environment, by my work. But I do like to push and challenge myself at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess it just depends on, when you talk about what that thing inside of you is telling you to do, like pushing yourself towards that thing that actually feels right. Because it's easy to, like digital marketing. A lot of people do digital marketing because that's just the trend, and so working your ass to the bone and not really enjoying that, it's easy to just hate the whole process. I've done it.
Yeah, there's a fine line between logic and emotion, but your emotion is your guide, but your brain thinks it's the boss, so it will try and override that all the time. It's like a back and forth battle. So that maybe our senses aren't as subtle as I'm saying. Maybe it's just because we've for so long
Yeah.
and not listened that we can't even hear it anymore. So I get those little indicators like throughout the day, and that's how I work. I listen and follow those. I don't have a set schedule. I don't have I do have tasks and things that repeat or recurring, and I'm working on becoming more like mechanical because that's never been my thing, and I think it is beneficial. But I like to work with the energy that I wake up with in the morning, the inspiration, like,
Yeah.
because sometimes I don't know. Ideally, I think it'd be nice if I could get to the point where I was a little bit more mechanical. I think I can in time. Like, okay, well, Sundays I'm going to organize. This is what I'm going to do. Because last week when I get into my creative bursts or modes, like it's not as bad as it used to be, but my whole desktop used to be just like full of files and different things. Over the years, I became better and better and better. In fact, I've got an intern right now, and he's just blown away, like at the way what I'm teaching him about how to organize a business. But it didn't used to be that way. So I'm getting better at the way I name things, the way I tag things. But I come from you should see my mom's purse. It's like, what is that thing? Like, it's like there's just shit like heaping out of it and falling out of it. It's just like always losing her keys. That was the example. That was I grew up around that. So I was very unorganized for a long time.
Yeah.
I've
It's
had
easy
to
to
learn
take
that.
those on. Yeah, cluttered space is a cluttered mind.
Right. And I think it's true for digital stuff as well. Like, you got to keep everything, like your downloads folder. I like to keep my downloads folder empty, and I can show you if we screen share some of the things that I do if you want.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Because
Yeah.
that's something that I'm trying to figure out too, is organization. I just bought the new MacBook or whatever, and so I'm trying to start the right way instead of just clogging it up. So I'll go in probably every week and file everything, because I download a lot of stuff as I'm building sales funnels or whatever. I need different images and content, so it just ends up all over the computer.
Yeah, I'll teach you some proprietary stuff. I mean,
Okay.
I'll just show you a few things. How do I share my screen?
If at the
Okay, here we
bottom.
go. I found it. All right, just a second here. Let me close out Photoshop. I just found this bumper sticker. It would be great for my van. Just go around, I'm flooring it.
Nice.
I've had that experience all the time.
That's hilarious.
Okay. Let's see here. This is the blog post that I'm working on. Let me get, okay. So there's a few core systems that I use, like, because I'm building multiple brands. I'm actually building 3 right now.
Okay.
One of them is, first of all, is like bookmarks and tabs, like, because it's easy to just, oh, I got to go to Facebook. So I go to facebook.com. And then what happens when I go here? My mind gets in the news feed. I go in my browsing habits. I completely forget what I was doing. I was just watching a video by Sam Evans this morning, and he was talking about how he uses social media. He doesn't use it like most people. He doesn't use it like, he uses it with intent to go in and find something, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I freaking open it up, and 30 minutes later,
it happens to everybody. So if I just go into Facebook like this, then my brain is going to be going and doing what it's been doing for 10 years, however long I've been on Facebook. It's going to go start looking at the news feed, and I'm like, oh wait, what the fuck was I doing? So I use a Chrome extension called Toby. And this is how I organize my different things that I'm working on, all of my projects. And it's basically like, these are just bookmarks, but this is my one for my Subaru brand, and this is one for my dog brand, and then I have for my personal brand, and then I just have one for my personal self.
Okay.
So this is probably the most organized one. So like if I want to get into something quickly, and being on slow internet, which I kind of am right now, and I have been like at certain times in my life, but I've needed to do these things because it's taken forever to load a page. So if I want to go to my group, which I use a lot, I can just hit group right there. And now I'm inside of my Facebook group.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And if I want to go to my Instagram, I just click the Instagram, and then I've got it all right here.
Nice.
What the crap? I want this. Okay. I want to go to my store. I want to go to the back office of my shop, or the front. I want to look at my shop. Okay. I can come look at my shop here. I want to, this stupid thing from Zoom is getting in my way. Let's do this. So now I have it. Now I'm in my back office right now. One of the things too is like clicking around through Facebook is like, that's the easiest way that I get lost, or else just start getting into those old habits. So I've got my inbox for my page right here too. I marked my inbox. If I want to post a piece of content, I have my creator studio right here. So I can just get right in there and just skip all that stuff. Skip those distractions. So now, I'm in my inbox here. That's called Toby. It's a Chrome extension.
Toby or 2Bs?
Toby.
Okay. I'm getting that today.
Yeah. I use ClickUp to manage all of my projects. And I have everything really segmented and slimmed down as much as I possibly can. Sometimes it gets sloppy, and then I'm like, this doesn't feel right. I need to trim this down more. One of my core philosophies or concepts that I picked up early in life is Kaizen, which is just continuous never-ending improvement that's based around systems. What can I do just to improve like my processes a little bit each day? So this is ClickUp. Have you heard of this before or used this?
I haven't.
Yeah, this thing will change your life.
Is it a free service, or do you pay for it?
Yeah, it's free. You can pay for it. And they're about to launch ClickUp 2.0, which I'm really stoked about. So I'll just kind of show you. This is like, these are called spaces up here. So this is how I organize everything. This is my business. This has everything to do with the internal workings of my business. Anything administrative, finance, documenting. So like if I'm creating, we'll get into documenting a little bit more. Team. So this would be like my internal team, create new ad for intern. I already did this. So I didn't do this yet. I'll tell you a little bit more about how this works in just a second here. So everything on the inside of my business goes into business. Everything on the outside that the public sees goes into brand. So,
okay.
Like I've got a street team for the Subi Society. It's just like brand ambassadors. They're going to be located in the brand because they have to do with like what the public sees. They're the outside. So anything that's outside goes under brand. So this is the inside of my business. This is the outside of my business. Gotcha. I've got a social tab because that's everything that has to do with social networking. So you got these spaces up here.
Uh-huh.
And then inside of the spaces, you have projects. So I've got, under projects, I've got Instagram, TikTok, group, research, messenger, Facebook ads, content. If I click on any one of these, there's list. So if I need to design something for Instagram, it's going to go right here. Create Instagram collection icons.
Wow. That's so cool.
Research. So whenever I come across a piece of software or tool that I want to use, your brain can't hold all these things. A notebook can't hold all these things. You need to put it at a very high level. So that's why I use this.
Yeah, so, I have all these things written down in journals that I'll never see again.
Yep. Yeah, this gives you a bird's eye view. In fact, if you click board right here, if I click board, I can go to all. I can see. Let's go to social and see what's going on in social right now. So I've got just a couple of pieces. Actually, it should be my whole project. Okay, there we go. So these are all my open tasks.
Okay.
These are what's in progress. So this is review. This is what I've got paused, and this is what I've got closed.
Wow.
Yep. So let's just go into one, for example. Okay, new member welcome post. System development in progress. Please see document below. So this is a system that I'm working on right now.
Oh man.
And then I integrate everything into the drive. So we've got the inner workings of my business, the outer workings of my business, anything to do with social media, because to me, that's all marketing is at this point. Like I'm not doing anything else other than social media. I can barely keep up with a couple platforms. I'm trying to get involved with TikTok because a lot of the car guys are on it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about TikTok. I've seen a lot of people kind of moving to that platform more and more.
Well, it's got all the right components. You got Gary Vee talking about it. It just feels like it's going to be big. I felt that with Pinterest when it first came out. I was like, this is going to be a really big thing. I want to take advantage of that. But I'm just getting into Instagram now from a business perspective. I'm a little late to the party. Like I'm still trying to wrap my head around the native language of what it is. Like, what is, like I get it. I've used it myself personally, but using it to promote and build a business is a whole nother story.
Absolutely.
But I understand it, getting it. So then I've got my shop, because everything related to my shop, anything that's really big. So here I've got my products, customers, blog pages. A lot of this is empty. My Pitbull one's probably bigger. And that's another thing too, is if you're working on multiple brands, you can just go up here and select your team. So I can go into my Pitbull one here, and I've got the exact same setup.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I can build any brand or business with this, and I'm really excited to do that. I just have to get like one of them going to the point where it can sustain me properly, and then it's on, because I really enjoy what I'm doing. and it's
Yeah.
very unique. So this is ClickUp. It's they're always adding something new every week. Like if I want to take a note, like if I've just come across something real quick, like you got your little notepad down here, and then you can change that into a task. It's very robust.
That's sweet. Yeah, I mean, it definitely, all of this, like building a business online would be so much more enjoyable if it was super organized like that. Because I
Yeah.
think a hard part is trying to figure out where the hell you put everything, and then it sucks.
Yep. So for every one of my businesses, I just get a G Suite basic account that I'm starting up, and I use Google Suite. I have all my, let's just go into here. So
Do you pay for the basic account, or is that free?
yeah, it's like $6 a month.
Okay.
So I have my email with my logo in it, and it's this. I mainly use it for the Gmail,
Uh-huh.
and the drive. So this is the drive, and this is how I organize the drive, just like I do ClickUp: brand,
Okay.
business, shop, social.
Smart.
If you're building a blog, maybe it could be blog instead of shop. I don't know.
Sure.
But if I go into brand, I've got documents. So this is the basic info of my brand. I have the name, the address, the logo, the email, the phone number. This is like this is what I was talking about, defining what is Subi Society. This is essentially in words what the brand is. I've got the what is, our vision, our goal, what we do, why we do it, how we do it, our philosophy, core values. And it's an ongoing thing. When I have a burst of energy, and I feel like when I start defining, it's because I've gotten to a level where what I'm doing is not clear enough. I need to I'm creating a framework. That's what you're doing. It's like the holodeck. You're creating a framework to let the universe, or whatever the heck you want to call it, start to fill in these gaps, because you've taken the time to actually stop and think about it.
Absolutely.
So,
Oh yeah. I think that's a piece a lot of people miss, including myself. I mean, there's a lot of projects that, I'm like, oh, this would be a good idea, and just start putting shit out there with no real intention or direction.
yep. Yeah, that's survival tactics. It
Yeah.
is. We're all a part of it, but we need to start thinking more long term. Like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I better commit to it. So this is like my brand's personality. I even create emojis for my brand, because that's a language. Like, these are the emojis that we use when we're interacting with our customers. I interact with people as in the community as the brand all day. Like, they don't know who I am. I'm interacting with them as the brand. Some of them know who I am because I comment on my personal profile sometimes, but I'm a little eccentric and weird, so I don't want as many people to know me right off the bat. It's just the inner circle that really knows me. So,
Sure.
So this is like my brand. Anything I need about my brand is in here.
Okay.
I could also include oh yeah, I do. Okay. So I've got the brand elements in here. So my logos, any of the graphic stuff. And then partners, this would be so one of the things that we do is we find cool product creators, and we invite them to sell on our platform. So if I come across someone that does something really unique on Instagram, I'll put them in here, and I'll reach out and talk to them like, hey, can we collaborate, or do you want to do this?
I like that.
And then there's the shop again. So everything's shop related. So customers, I've got like my customer lists in here. This is where I keep all of my products. So like, you can go in here, and this is a hat design.
That's so cool. Yeah, this is super organized.
Everything's integrated. And then I've got social. So I'll show you this system. So content is a big thing. Yeah, like you have Gary Vee talking about you need to be pumping out 100 pieces of content a day right now. Well, I might as well just kill myself then. Like how in the hell am I going to do that? Like that's not even humanly possible, but it's the systems that make it possible. And sometimes it might take your head a long time, maybe weeks or a month or two, to wrap your head around basically to free up the energy in your body to like have that intelligence. So me developing a content delivery system for this brand has taken me a long time. I think I'm it's been on my mind for 3 months. I'm now just barely getting it to the point where it's like, oh, this thing is going to be badass. So for content, in my social folder, I got a folder called content, and I've got a folder called approvals. So if I have help, like an assistant or somebody going out and finding content for me, like I want to be the one that ideally, I have the vision for the brand in this case. So it needs to come through me. You can't just go and post anything.
Sure.
Because I tried that and it was like, dude, my feed is a freaking mess right now. This is not the image that I'm trying to portray. Stop. Let's stop until we get a proper system in place, because again, this is just survival things. Doing this is just taking action without thinking long-term. So I've set up this whole approval process, and I've got this review folder. So the most popular content for this particular brand is memes. And then also like people like to have their cars featured. So I've got a folder called members rides, and I've got a folder called memes. And then I've also got one called sources. So sources is where I go out and find like other popular, like this is a Facebook page. The Facebook page is named Subaru Impreza. Just save their pictures and upload them to the drive. I have my personal assistants and interns do this stuff. And then I come in and look at it. So this is Instagram, and I name it what the Instagram was. Okay?
Yeah.
So that way I know to credit them, so I'm not just stealing somebody's stuff. And then we've got some memes in here, and then we've got members rides. So what I do is I go through this and I look at the memes and I say that someone else collected. Okay, finally I understand why cars have these things. That's not that funny to me. It's okay. I'm going to move this to not approved. So I have these folders: approved, not approved. I'm just going to move it there.
Okay.
And then if the content needs work, let's go back into this process. So if the content needs work, I'll put it in pending, and then I'll leave notes on it in Google Docs. So once it's approved, then I can have them go out and post it. I've added the branding to it. You can see that I've added the logo to it at this point.
Yeah.
Or if I really like the car, then it's like, okay. Then my personal assistant or my social media manager or Instagram person, whatever, they can go out and post that now. But I have to be the one that sees the overall vision of the brand, because I have a certain ideal. You know, I'm sure that Steve Jobs had a certain look and feel that he wanted to have the iPhones look, you know, and it probably all came up through him. So absolutely. I'm just giving you this process as just kind of an example of kind of how I organize things.
Yeah, I already can see how, like in my own projects, because I run like a fitness e-commerce brand called Fit Couples. And this type of stuff, because we have a VA, this would really help, because there's a lot of content that I'm like, I don't know about that, you know. And if I can go in and approve it, if I can see what she's got ready for me, you know, we can all be on the same page, and it will be a lot more seamless.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to be able to delegate, and the delegation comes through proper documentation. So that's another thing so when it comes to documenting, I should just rename this real quick here. Let me just rename this to document. This is a big driver of mine. So I record training videos and I make training documents constantly. Like, let's just pull one up here. This is like how to write a new member welcome post. This document outlines the procedure, rules, and guidelines for creating new member welcome posts. See full training video here. I made a video that they can watch. Go to the graphics folder. It's just basically step by step. Go to the graphics folder inside the welcome post folder. Step 2, download one of the 1200 by 1200 branded page posts. It's just basically 13 steps for somebody to go in and do something. This frees you up. This is what gets you out of doing what you. My main focus or my main objective every day when I sit down and go to work is to replace myself constantly. So when I create these mechanical processes, I can get out of that, and I don't have to do that anymore. I already have people doing these for me.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, if you want to learn how to do this stuff, there's a book that I highly recommend called Work the System.
Okay.
I think the author's name is Sam Carpenter. There's only a few people or a few different subjects that have made a really big impact on me in my life, and most of them have to do with systems, to be honest with you, because that's how you organize all the chaos, you know?
And that's seriously what a true business owner is. I mean, I feel like an entrepreneur is someone that's actually just doing the work, whereas the actual business owner is delegating and providing the systems for everyone to do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
Be the visionary, not the hammer tosser or whatever you want to call it.
Yep. So that I'll turn this off now, but that like click up, drive, and just having this systems, developing the systems mindset over time. And I did get a lot of it from that book. I mean, it'll teach you how to organize yourself by just setting up a few like key parameters. One of them is the big goal, and the other is like the value systems. Once you have those value systems in place, you don't go against them ever. Like you don't go against them. You just adhere to them. You can modify them if things change, but
sure. Wow.
Yeah.
That's some powerful stuff right there. I definitely have some work to do for my own stuff.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of moving parts in this day and age, you know. There's just a ton of moving parts, and if you have to produce like so much content every day, and it's competitive too. Let's be honest with ourselves. Like it's highly competitive. I tried to come back and do the things I was doing 3 or 4 years ago, 6 months ago, in my mind thinking, oh yeah, it's all good. I'm going to be out of this situation in no time. No, the game's changed completely. Everything that I did before is not working.
Yeah.
People are inundated with offers. People are inundated with information and choices. What you've got is really got to speak to them. And it's really got to be unique and really rare. Like, so a part of this brand that I have, or actually I can share this one more time just to show you. Let's just pull this up here. Okay. So a part of this brand that I have built into it is building in these customizable products. You can see this is somebody's car that's been turned into artwork that's been put on a t-shirt.
Okay.
This is the kind of stuff in e-com that people want these days. It's like, because I used to just sell t-shirts with sayings on them. You can still do that, but if you want to be competitive these days, because I've paid attention to everything that's going on in e-commerce, like as far as subjects that people are passionate about, it's really all about offering customizable products at this point in time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm doing. I've created a whole sub brand. So I've got the Subi Society, which is the community aspect, but this is going to be the Subi Arts is going to be like the product division. Like this is going to be where most of the money is made for this, I believe.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yep.
When are you gonna come out with a course?
Never.
Never.
I never talk about this stuff. You've asked me, so I'm like, all right. Someone asked me. I'll talk to him about it. I'll do consulting. I'd be open to do consulting, but I don't think I'm going to create a course. It's just, I have my own website that I just started, JayzenShawver.com. I really want to sell my artwork and my photography. My real passions are music and art. So yeah. I do like business though. It is one of my passions. It keeps me from going crazy, but eventually I would like to do way more with music and art.
Yeah, man, this is the type of stuff that I feel like a lot of people are missing. Even in courses that I've been through, none of that stuff was taught. And those are like the core foundational things that need to be set up before you even get started. Because if I had those systems in place when I started my business, I would be way farther ahead. I'm so freaking disorganized. I've got, multiple projects, but they're all in each other because there's nothing there to separate them. And so I think, the what you just gave to us is some serious gold.
Yeah, that's value right there for sure. That's years and years and years of refining. I like if you went into my systems like 5 years ago, you'd be like, "Oh, this is a mess." All my folders used to have like they were all caps. Like I made them all caps. I don't know why. You can't read them. Your brain doesn't work like that. So it's just like just little tweaks every day. Little tweaks. How can this be improved? Just think like a Toyota executive. You got to think like a Japanese.
Oh, it cut out on me.
Yeah, I think you're back now.
Yeah. But yeah, so think like a Toyota executive, what can we cut out? What can we reduce? How can we make this better?
Yeah, and for yourself too, find your core things. Like I explained to you, mine's Kaizen, and like in business,
Mm,
it's the systems mindset. And don't get. I don't read a lot of books. I don't get caught up in too many people's information. If somebody knows what they're talking about, like I listen to Gary Vee for certain things, I don't listen to him all day.
yeah,
But like if I need to get a fire lit up under my ass, or if I need to figure out like what's working now, or like how to interact or deal with people, he's a good guy to listen to. If
sure.
I want to become really efficient, then I listen to like Sam Evans, because he's like, he studies like Walmart and like Amazon, these big like production systems. So he's going to teach a lot of high level like things. And one of them, I was watching a video from his like maybe a month ago. He was talking about a concept called throughput. And I'm like, oh, this is where I'm getting stuck, is throughput, which is basically that once the way my product is being delivered is efficient. Right now, like with the artwork stuff, it's not, and with my content, it's not. I'm having to like go through and carve all that out, because if you want to like produce a lot, the stream or the flow has to be. It can't have kinks in it like a hose. Like, and
Yeah.
you deal with them all day long. I'm dealing with them a lot with Instagram right now, because I have an intern who he's from Peru. He speaks English, but I'm not going to trust him to type, like, because
Yeah.
he's going to type out a bunch of Spanglish.
Broken.
So it's
Yeah.
like, how do I found out that I can save a draft to Instagram on a phone, but that doesn't work on his phone. So I'm looking at software called Later and whatnot, but I'm just going to build it all into the drive. I started to build it into the drive. So there's going to be, yeah,
Nice, dude.
but it's not always where I want it to be. Like, I know this could be better. Like,
Yeah, I guess that's the process of it all. It never really is perfect, but it continuously can be better. And I
yeah.
think even people that are operating at a high level, that's how they got to that place, is those questions, asking those right questions, is how can it be better?
Mm-hmm. Yep. How can it be slimmer? How, like, less is more. That's the way I'm always looking at. Simplify, simplify, simplify as much as I possibly can. Like, if it feels too complicated, I usually scrap it. Like, nope, not going to do it.
Yeah.
Because that's been a big problem for me, is like I get really excited. And this is another thing that I could share, like, with about people. People get really excited about an idea. They do. And then they'll talk about it. They'll try and get you involved in it. And I just will observe them. I'm like, because I have friends that do this to me. Like, yeah, we're going to do this and that. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just sit there and listen. And like 3 days later, it's gone. I'm like, you don't have what it takes. I know, because I've gone through these processes. You're not serious yet.
Yeah, they don't think about what's on the back end, what comes with it.
Yep.
They just
And
see the money, the dollar signs.
Yeah, and that's kind of how our body works. Like we get hit with like this chemical release and it creates this inspiration. That's the beginning motivator to get involved with it. But then we go through like these diagnostics, right? We go through these, like we get ourselves checked by ourselves. Like, are you really want to do this? Because you're just laying in bed right now and you can't get your ass out of bed. But if you stay committed and go through all that stuff and then then you got to go through all the emotions, and it's a process. But it doesn't start with that first thing. That's where most people slip up. They get excited about an idea, and the first like hint of adversity, which is a natural part of the process, they quit.
It's just a test. How bad do you really want it?
Yeah.
You know?
And how much are you willing to change? How adaptable are you? What is your, do you have protocols for communication and dealing with conflicts, especially when you're working with a team? Do you have things like, do you know how to communicate with somebody? Do you know why people get in fights? And
Yeah.
do you know how to resolve that? Like when you start working together with people, like my last company that I was building, I left, or I kind of got fired because I was trying to open it up to collective decision making, but it was being operated like a dictatorship, like a small business. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, the scenario was that the guy I was working with, he was a creator. He created the products, but he also liked designing the boxes for the software and things like that. And he was pretty good at it. But I had another designer who was really, really good at it. And I felt like the other designers' designs were more premium and they would be able to command like the proper price point because they just looked like fresh, minimal, clean. And his didn't look as good to me. So I'm like, can we use his at first? And he's like, no, I don't like it. No, I don't like it. So I'm like, okay, well, we have this community of beta testers. We've got like 50 people in there. Would you mind if we shared both of our designs and got a consensus vote? No. And at that point, like we just kind of like, that's kind of like when you got to know when to fold them. Cause I don't want to work by myself. I want to work as a unit because that's where the real power lies. But if you've got one person in there that wants to control the whole thing and is objective to opening it up, like to like, hey, let's put this in front of the community and let them vote, then I know that person is going to want to be in control of that thing the whole time. And it's not going to be I can't take it to the level that I want to take it at, you know. I'm not in control of what I do. I'm directing it. I'm just directing the outcomes right now. I'd like somebody to take over these. I want to build them for them and have them run them. So
That's great insight because I feel like I can say for myself I've been the control type, you know, and it's easy because like I've accumulated all this knowledge on marketing and I've got these ideas for how it should go. And so, you know, someone else that comes in telling me, you know, this is the way we should do it, you know, I've got my opinion and that can get in the way. So that was definitely what I needed to hear because there's some things that I could be doing differently in my partnerships to allow a lot more harmony and cooperation.
yeah, I think there's a quote that Steve Jobs says that's like, we hire smart people to tell us what to do or something along those lines. Yeah. I would love to just have people that are smarter than me, like attracting people that are smarter than me all the time. Like, hell yes. It feels so good when you get an action taker that is like taking initiative. Cause it's like, whoa, that person's like me. That's what I do for other people. Like,
Yeah,
I don't see that very often. It's rare. So when you get
absolutely.
it, like just if you see somebody that's taking creative initiative like that, you got to like give them some free reign because they will bring ideas to the table that you can't. And I've
Yeah,
had that with designers and stuff before where like because I'm a designer and they would send me their design and I was like, bingo, like, whoa, like hell yes.
right. Holy shit, dude. This was an awesome uh video chat, whatever we want to call it, you know. I've
Yeah. What
really
is this for
appreciated
anyways?
this. I'm actually going to be starting a podcast. This may or may not be the first episode. I think it might be, or maybe the second. But you know, creating content revolving around entrepreneurship, marketing, business development, anything that has to do with, those things, investing, real estate, that kind of stuff. Haven't really honed in on the specific topic yet. Um, but I kind of wanted to find other people out there that are providing a lot of value to the space, get them on here and, see what they could add to our community.
That's cool. Yeah, I saw your logo. You got some good design skills. Do you make all that stuff?
Yeah, I do it all on Canva.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, if I don't have any other design skills like when it comes to like Illustrator or Photoshop, so it's all just it's kind of forced almost sometimes.
Yeah, I've never used Canva because I know Photoshop, but maybe at some point I will. I've got it written down to test it.
Yeah,
But
I appreciate you saying that about that because I don't know. I don't know
yeah,
what.
you got a good eye for it. It's natural to you. I can tell. I've seen a couple things like the what was the one? Self-love. What was that? Was that called Know Your Worth?
Yeah,
And
the
the
my
and so
banner.
this one is the preneur one.
Yeah, this is kind of a new venture. I do coaching and consulting for digital marketing. So I help, entrepreneurs and business owners grow their brand through sales funnels and marketing. And so that's kind of a new approach that I'm taking. Before it was a digital marketing agency called Prestige Media. And so I I had a split focus. I'm very passionate about self-love and self-development, and so I actually had a podcast called Know Your Worth. And then there's this pull of like I'm not making any money and I'm not really getting anywhere with this, but I am with my marketing and I know what I'm talking about and I feel passion with it. So is this push pull, and so
You got to
um,
feed yourself first.
yeah, exactly. And
I mean,
so,
you could feed yourself with the other one, I'm sure. I just like the reason why I'm building these brands based around niche subjects because I want my personal brand to be popping, stuff like that. But the
yeah,
reason why I'm building these brands around these niche subjects is because the audience is there. I can just
right.
go and I like it. I have to have some sort of affinity for it.
Yeah, and it goes back to what you said is like not trying to be a guru.
Yeah.
Like I can talk about self-love because I study that stuff daily. But I also was taking the approach of like, you should listen to me. This is the way it is. Like, so trying to be on the more documenting side, like, hey, this is what's going on in my life, this is how it's been changing me. But also I can do that with this new preneur cast because I can incorporate what we talked about is like, finding what it feels like to you inside when it comes to making decisions, and if it feels right, and going in that direction versus if it's just you're banging your head up against the wall with it. So I can incorporate that. I'm already passionate about marketing. I'm getting a lot better on in talking on camera and in general. And so I think it's going to be a good um, lane for me to be in.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity. I want to get involved in consulting because I think it'll ease a little bit of the struggle as far as me getting the launches like or these brands going. I
Yeah,
could I think that I could probably consult a pretty big company if they only knew who I was. That's the problem. They just don't nobody knows about me because I haven't been in the public spotlight for business. I've never done it. I'm just starting to commit to that now, like this year. I've got my YouTube channel set up. I'm starting to upload those training videos, and I just made a couple posts on LinkedIn. I'm working on figuring it out, like how to get clients like that.
yeah,
Because they don't know. If they knew me, they'd be like, dude, yeah, here's like $100,000 coming and tune my stuff up.
yeah. And I think posting content and really getting our message out there is the best way for us to do it right now, and that's kind of my approach. And I think even you maybe don't even have to consult major companies at this point until you kind of have that baseline of testimonials or whatever you want to call it, with maybe some smaller brands that are looking to create products on Shopify, drive traffic through social sales funnels. You definitely have the knowledge, and you you blew my mind today. That's for sure.
Thanks. Yeah, it's just because it's not that I've kept it secret. I've only talked with people about it within my inner circle. Anybody that's worked with me has learned a shit ton. Like, because I've been doing this for such a long time. I started when, like I said, I started on MySpace. I started before the most popular thing was a squeeze page, an opt-in page, and you couldn't leave it. The only thing that you could do was enter your email, and then you're going to get sold on the next page is going to be a freaking sales page, and then you're going to get 7 days worth of emails just driving you right back to the sales page. But it's different now.
Yeah.
I like what I'm doing now. I'm not going to show you. You might be able to figure it out if you pay attention, but it took me, I just barely figured it out like 2 days ago. Like, holy shit, Jayson, you built a freaking it's a seamless, like, social sales funnel that the people love. And it has like a big social proof element to it too. And it's all community driven. That's what I like doing the most, is building communities. Like, that's what I've been doing this whole time, actually. If I really think about it, just communities around subjects that people are passionate about.
Yeah. I love that.
Yep.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join me on this show. I'm not sure where it's headed yet, but you definitely started it off right. That's for sure.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. Anything to support you. You asked, so I didn't get an outline from you, so it's all good.
Yeah, and I'm glad I didn't, honestly, because it turned out a lot better than, because I can set the path, but this was way more free flowing and out of, inspiration, I feel like, and just the content was way better than I could have, because I have an outline, right? I wrote this right before we got on the call, and
Yeah.
it's like, it's just questions about you and, how you got to where you're at. And we already discussed all that, but in a way more organic way.
Yeah. This was good. Good call. Good flow. Thanks for having me on. Like, good luck with it. Like, the concept looks sound. It's just about doing it every day. Like, and how am I really committed to this too? Like, is this what I really want to do for the long term? So you're going to get smarter by talking about it. Like, you're going to learn, you'll get other people to give you different ideas.
Yeah. I gotta do what you've done with the Subi Squad, or is that what it's called?
Subi Society.
Subi Society.
Mm-hmm.
Is like write out my intentions with it. Really build those ground floor foundations before I get super serious about it. Because like I said, I started that podcast and I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, that's what gives it legs.
Yeah.
When you do that, then it's like, okay, this is something. I was building a brand with a friend for years, and his logo looked really cool, but he could never define it. I was like, what is this thing? You don't define it. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, if the words aren't written out and all of that which I showed you, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a logo. Like,
And it doesn't mean anything to anyone else.
yeah, they can feel it. So
yeah, because you can't even tell those people, what it's about.
yeah, and that's been a big problem for me my whole career. It's like, I've always had sweet graphics because I'm a designer, and great logos and great concepts, but
yeah,
like, now I'm like, okay, really got to map this thing out. I call it coding. Like, you're coding your business, like software.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yep.
Cool, brother. Sweet. Well, thanks again. If you need anything, definitely reach out to me. I don't know if there's anything that I can, provide for you. But I don't know if you want any of this content for your own channel, I can send that over to you. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I can put it up on my YouTube channel for sure. I would appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
I don't know what the best way to send you this document would be, because it's going to be a pretty big file.
You just email it to me.
Okay. Yeah, because we're over an hour.
Yeah, just message me.
Okay.
You can put it in the drive, and then I can just download it.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Sweet.
All right. Take care, Shane.
Yeah.
All right. See you, dude.
With you, catching up. Have a good day.
All right. See ya.
Peace.